You have $84 million, and right now, at 7 in the morning, you are dragging a trash can down to the curb in your slippers. 8 months after the single biggest day of your life. This is the scene. Quiet street. Cold air biting at your ankles. A man worth more than most small towns hauling his own garbage out to the curb because it's Tuesday and the truck comes on Tuesday, and nobody, in all the noise and confetti about winning, ever told you what you're supposed to do on a regular Tuesday when you don't have to do a single thing in the world. Hold on that image, because that's the whole story right there. That curb. That's where all of this ends up. Now let me take you back to how it started, because the beginning is exactly what you'd picture, and the ending is nothing like it. Rewind 8 months. You're standing at a gas station counter on a Friday after work, buying the same lottery ticket you've bought 100 times before. The dumb little hopeful tax you pay because dreaming for $1 is cheaper than therapy. You're tired. You've got that low background hum of money stress running under everything, the kind you don't even notice anymore because it's just the temperature of your whole life. You buy the ticket. You shove it in your jacket pocket. You forget about it before you've even pulled out of the parking lot. Then Saturday night, you're half watching the numbers come up, barely paying attention, and the first one matches. And you think, funny. And the second one matches, and you sit up a little straighter. And then it just keeps happening. Number after number after number. And the room goes strange and far away, like you're looking at it through water. And your own heartbeat is suddenly the loudest thing in the house, louder than the TV, and you check the ticket again and again and a fourth time, because your brain flat out refuses to believe what your eyes keep telling it. You won $84 million before taxes. Real. Confirmed. Your life is now officially split into before and after one. And the next part, I have to tell you, is everything the movies promised it would be. There's this beautiful, insane week where you cannot sleep and cannot stop smiling, where you keep laughing out loud for no reason in the middle of doing absolutely nothing, just standing in your kitchen grinning like you've lost your mind. You pay off every debt you have in a single afternoon with a few taps, and the relief of it is so physical it nearly puts you on the floor. That weight you'd carried so long you forgot it was a weight, just gone. Then you start spending, the way anyone would, the way you've daydreamed about 1,000 times. You buy the car. Not a sensible car. The car, the low growling one shaped like a paper airplane, the one that costs more than a house. And you're pretty sure you bought it just to keep feeling the way you felt the first second you sat down in it. You buy a watch that costs more than the car your dad drove the entire time you were growing up. A heavy, beautiful thing on your wrist that you catch yourself staring at. You buy the house. The one with too many rooms, with a kitchen bigger than the entire apartment you were living in 8 months ago, with a staircase that curves and windows that go all the way up. And for a few months it is, genuinely, no notes, incredible. Anyone who tells you money can't buy happiness has clearly never once paid off a debt that was quietly drowning them. It can buy a whole lot of happiness. I'm not going to lie to you about that part, because you'd know I was lying. But here's the thing nobody warns you about, and it's the actual point of this entire video. The money did not make you into a new person. All it did was hand a megaphone to the person you already were. Let me show you exactly what I mean, because this is where it stops being a fantasy and starts being real. Were you someone who, underneath everything, quietly didn't like yourself all that much? The money does not fix that. Not even a little. Now you're just someone who doesn't like himself in a much bigger house, with a lot more rooms to feel it in, and it turns out a big quiet house is just a louder place to hear your own thoughts at 2 in the morning. Were you a genuinely generous person before all this, the one who always reached for the check even when your own account couldn't really take the hit? Then here's the good news. The real good news. Now you're generous on a scale that actually changes people's lives. You pay off your sister's mortgage and watch her cry in a way you've never seen. And it's beautiful, and it might honestly be the best thing the money ever did. The generosity was already in you. The money just gave it reach. But were you a little avoidant? Did you have a quiet habit of running from the hard conversations, of numbing out at the end of every day instead of feeling what you didn't want to feel? Because now, my friend, you can afford to run forever. You never have to sit in a single uncomfortable feeling again as long as you live. The second one shows up, you can fly away from it. Literally. A different city by dinner. And a feeling you never sit with is a feeling that never, ever goes away. It just moves into the bigger house and waits for you there, patient, in one of all those extra rooms. That's the trap, and almost nobody sees it coming until they're standing in the middle of it. You spent your entire life telling yourself one quiet story, over and over, and the story always started with the same two words. I'd be happy if. I'd finally relax if. I'd be a better person, a calmer person. I'd call my mother more. I'd start the thing I always swore I'd start. I'd be kind and present and brave if I just didn't have to worry about money. Money was the reason. Money was the wall, standing between you and the entire life you always meant to be living. And then one ordinary Saturday night, the wall just vanishes. Poof, the reason is gone. And you find yourself standing in the wide open space where your excuse used to live. And you slowly learn the thing nobody on earth ever tells you. The money was never actually the wall. You were. The money was just the thing you got to point at and blame. All those years, and now you can't point at it anymore. And that is so much heavier than it has any right to be. You always said you'd start the business once you had a cushion. Well, now you have the cushion. The biggest, softest cushion imaginable. More than you could spend in 3 lifetimes. And you notice with a sick little drop in your stomach that you're still not starting it. Turns out it was never about the cushion at all. You were scared, and I can't afford to was a so much kinder thing to whisper to yourself than I'm afraid to. So you whispered it for 15 years, and now the money has gone and taken that excuse clean away and left you standing there holding nothing but the truth. You always said you'd be less stressed once the pressure was gone, less short with the people you love, more there, more present. But the stress was never living in your bank account. It was living in you, in your wiring, in your jaw, in habits you spent decades carving into yourself, and none of that gets deleted by a wire transfer, no matter how many zeros are on it. The calm you spent your whole life waiting to finally buy was never once for sale. So you drive the paper airplane car back to the enormous empty house, and you feel the exact same low hum you felt standing at that gas station counter. And it genuinely frightens you, because you just spent your very last excuse, and the feeling is somehow still here. So that's the trash can. That's the Tuesday morning in the slippers. 8 months in, the high has worn off the way every single high eventually wears off, and you're standing out at the curb in the cold, realizing the money solved every problem that was actually about money, which turned out to be a much, much shorter list than you ever imagined. And it solved precisely none of the problems that were really about you. But I promise you this is not a sad story. It genuinely isn't. Because here comes the turn, and it's the best thing the money ever actually did for you, even though it didn't feel anything like a gift while it was happening. By taking the excuse away, the money forced you to finally actually meet yourself. There's no more someday when I have the money. Someday is now. Someday arrived 8 months ago in a gas station. There's nothing left standing between you and the life you always said you wanted except you. And for the first time in your entire life, you can see that with perfect clarity. Because the thick fog of money stress that hid it from you for 40 years just lifted all at once, in a single Saturday night. So you start, finally, doing the quiet, unglamorous, unpostable work that money cannot do for you and never could. You sit in the uncomfortable feeling instead of booking a flight away from it. You call your mother, not because you can afford to now, you always could, that was never it, but because you finally ran all the way out of reasons not to. You start the small thing, the real thing, the thing you'd been protecting with excuses for half your life, and you start it scared, because scared was always the real price of admission, and the money was never once going to pay it for you. You let the generosity that was always in you run as far as it can reach. And slowly, quietly, the person rattling around in that big house starts to become someone the money could never have bought and could never have faked. Someone you actually like coming home to. The 84 million was never the thing that changed your life. It just turned the volume all the way up on exactly who you already were. It made you impossible to keep ignoring to yourself. And it handed you the one thing you'd been begging for the whole time without ever realizing it. No more excuses. So if you're sitting there right now genuinely believing that some number in a bank account is the only thing standing between who you are and who you want to be, I need you to really hear the one true thing this whole story is about. The money will amplify you. It will not author you. Whoever you already are on the day it arrives is exactly who you'll be the day after, just louder, with nicer cars and absolutely nowhere left to hide. The work of becoming a person you're proud of is the very same work whether you're broke or you just won $84 million. And the cruelest, kindest joke the lottery ever plays is that winning does not get you out of that work. It just quietly removes the last thing you were using to put it off. So here's the part that should actually change your week. You don't need to win anything. The excuse was always going to run out on you eventually, one way or another. You can just decide, right now, on a completely ordinary Tuesday, in your own slippers, to stop waiting for the money to make you brave.